So now we're going to move into the award presentation section of the evening, and we have two great presenters who are going to be presenting our honorees with the awards. They both have a very, very decorated background, so long that I actually have to take copious notes on it. So the first presenter will be Judge Zaven Sinanian. Judge Sinanian was appointed to the bench in 2002. Since then, he has served the public and the community with honor, including dedicating his time outside the courtroom to be present on numerous affluent committees, including the California Judge Association, the Chair of Courts, ADR, LA County Bar Association, JES Civil Education Committee, and the Armenian Bar Association. As a way of background, Judge Sinanian actually still attends the meetings to prepare for this event. And in fact, he's attended every meeting to prepare for this event. So Judge Sinanian, thank you so much for your time with us. As we all know him now, he's the supervising judge for the MSC department. And it's very important to all of us to try to get cases settled. He's settled, from what I'm told, about 99% of his cases. We didn't have that luck with him, but that's what I'm told. So I'm going to invite Judge Sinanian up here, and he's going to say some wonderful words about our honoree.
I've been given this privilege, and I'm very fortunate to be here today. It's an honor to introduce Justice Bendix, an accomplished jurist and a dear friend. In 2008, I took over Judge Kevin Brazil's courtroom at the Moss Courthouse, shortly after he was given an independent calendar civil courtroom. I remember because I was going to be transferred to a limited court, and Kevin Brazil told me, "You take that courtroom, because good things will happen." So I did. And good things did happen. I was very lucky for two reasons. My courtroom neighbor became Judge Ruth Kwan. Our other honoree this evening, who became a very close friend and a mentor. The other special person I got to know was Justice Bendix, who was at the time a Superior Court judge in the civil department. In 2009, I was lucky to be assigned to a civil courtroom on the same floor as Judge Brazil and Justice Bendix. 3 years later, Justice Bendix, who supervised the LA Superior Court Mandatory Settlement Conference program, asked me to join her team. Before I share with you what she has meant to me and to our community, I would like to briefly tell you about her background, which will resonate with Armenian Americans in this room. She was born and raised in New York. Her parents, both Holocaust refugees, emigrated to New York in the 1940s. Her father passed away shortly after she and her twin sister Alice were born. They were raised by her mother and maternal grandmother, who worked as a sales clerk at a department store to support their family. Justice Bendix attended Cornell University, where she graduated with distinction and later received her law degree from Yale Law School. There were no lawyers in her family to coach her. Justice Bendix selected law as a career at a time when lawyers were the catalyst for social change in our community, especially in civil rights and consumer protection. She met her future husband, U.S. District Court Judge John Kronstad, at Cornell, and they married while they were law students at Yale. They have 3 wonderful children, Jessica, Eric, and Nicola, and 2 lovely grandchildren. Jessica and Eric are here tonight to celebrate with Justice Bendix. They're back there. Thank you for being here. Nicola could not be here tonight. She's working a rotation in medical school, and for that reason she's unable to attend. Justice Bendix clerked at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, worked in private practice for 20 years at prominent law firms, and served as general counsel at KCET. The path eventually led her to the bench. In 1997, she was appointed to the Los Angeles Municipal Court, from where she was elevated to the Superior Court in 2000. In 2018, Justice Bendix received the much-deserved honor of appointment to the California Court of Appeal. A gain for the Court of Appeal, a loss for the Superior Court. Justice Bendix's accomplishments are many, but perhaps the most important, in my humble opinion, were her tireless efforts to build the MSc program for the Superior Court, which the legal community is a beneficiary of, proven by its enduring success. At the beginning of the decade, some of you know, our courts were faced with a severe budget crisis, forcing closure of courthouses and staff layoffs, resulting in greatly increased workloads for our civil judges and long delays in trials. In 2013, the court's Alternative Dispute Resolution Services program, which had existed for more than 20 years, was eliminated due to the budget cuts. The MSc program became ever more important for litigants as the only alternative dispute resolution program available free of charge to litigants in civil cases. Free of charge. It was under Justice Bendix's pioneering leadership that the court expanded the number of experienced judges assigned to mediating civil disputes. It required an extraordinary amount of creativity and commitment to make that a success. To my knowledge, no other county in the state has a program where so many sitting judges are assigned full-time to serve in an MSc program. I just want you to know, since Justice Bendix left us, Presiding Judge Brazil, Assistant Presiding Judge Eric Taylor, and Civil Supervising Judge Samantha Jester are true believers of this program and have done everything they can to help us, to guide us, and make this program a success for our community. And I think a great deal of credit goes to them that they've continued that tradition under our watch. Thank you. We are often asked, what makes a good judge? I hear this all the time. This and how do I get out of the traffic ticket? You know, those are the common questions. Or jury duty. I have come to learn that it's not simply intellect or ability to move calendars, writing well-regarded opinions, or even the most important quality, treating everyone in the courtroom fairly and conscientiously, with dignity and respect. It is all of the above plus something else. That something else is that which Justice Bendix carries, embodies, and radiates. An insatiable desire to understand the unknown, a boundless curiosity to peel back the layers of unfamiliar treasures, a penchant to do what you always wanted to do but were too tired or afraid to do, someone who looks you in the eye and doesn't look away and deeply feels what is in your heart to comfort you and to support you. Justice Bendix possesses the ideal combination of rational judgment and a strong sense of compassion for other human beings. Whether she's adjudicating a case or helping the parties resolve their disputes, Justice Bendix does it with integrity and genuine care for the well-being of all those around her. Her abiding commitment to fairness, unmatched intellect, and proven work ethic have been her essential qualities as a judge. She embodies the person who we all aspire to be. And pay attention here. That's not simply to be the best judge or justice, but a more perfect human being, and that is just Justice Bendix. As some of you know, Justice Bendix is an avid musician and plays violin in the Los Angeles Lawyers Philharmonic Orchestra. Beethoven once said, "To play a wrong note is insignificant. To play without passion is inexcusable." Justice Bendix not only plays her violin with passion, but her incomparable passion for justice has made an enormous difference in our community. And we appreciate that, and we cherish that about her. We thank you for being here to honor Justice Bendix. Please join me in congratulating her this evening.
comes out, and thank you so much. I will be brief. Public speaking is not my forte, so I did write down my remarks because I wanted really to think about what I wanted to communicate to everyone today. So I did some research. And being here reminds me of a story by Michael Arlen, who was a famous British writer born in Bulgaria with Armenian parents. And he had lunch one day with William Saroyan, also a very well-known writer, Armenian writer. And he gave his wife a glowing account of the lunch. And she asked him, "What are you so excited about? After all, the day before you lunched with the king of Greece." And he replied, "For an Armenian to lunch with a king, that's natural. But for an Armenian to lunch with another Armenian, that's something to be proud of." And imagine how proud I feel today having dinner with all of you. As I reflected on today, I recalled when Judges Sinanian and Keosian were the awardees here, and they remembered their fathers and how their fathers were dedicated to the cause of justice and preserving the Armenian culture. And that really left a very big impression in me. And I remember thinking then how struck I was with how similar the Jewish and Armenian experiences are, and I'm Jewish, and my family's Jewish, as you heard. And on the second night of the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, I'd like briefly to elaborate on this thought. And I like to think that we Armenians and Jews both revere faith and family. We're committed to social justice, and I don't think it's an accident that there's so many Armenians and Jews who are attorneys fighting for the rights of others, as the video just showed us. And I think that's almost imprinted in our DNA. And it's funny, that same imagery was in the video. I think our cultures are very committed to the rule of law, and probably derives from our faith in the word in the Bible. I think sadly we share near extinction of our culture through genocide. And also sadly, we still experience those who would deny those horrific events. We are also immigrants in foreign lands, and we generally have succeeded in the diaspora despite, as what the video showed us, really horrific sadness and experiences. We share celebrating with good food, today being no exception, and lots of it. You never can eat enough, at least in my family. So, it's been a wonderful evening. We also share one of the most famous chess masters in the world, because Garry Kasparov had a Jewish father and an Armenian mother. I feel a special warmth here today, and I like to reflect that I think it's because it's the musician in me, and I don't even compare to 1/100th of what you can do, but I'll just leave it at that, not in public. I don't play that piece in public. Okay. The violin has given voice to the joy, I think, and the pathos of our common experiences. And again, I don't think it's an accident that some of the greatest violin concertos were written by an Armenian, Cacciatore, very difficult to play, and by Mendelssohn, who got fixed, but he was Jewish to begin with. His grandfather was a very great Jewish scholar. And I think maybe I feel comfortable because of the music in your names. I mean, your names are so lyrical and just saying them, and they have a nice rhythm to it. And so whenever an Armenian lawyer would hear, and I had some notes, I would try to practice the name so I would say it properly, and it always just flowed off my tongue. William Saroyan said, "It's in the nature of an Armenian to study, to learn, to question, to speculate, to discover, and to invent, to revise, to restore, to preserve, and to make and to give." And I think that describes both our cultures. And there's a sort of an apocryphal story. The great painter, Marc Chagall, was visiting the Jerusalem ceramic studio of a Mrs. Balian in the mid-'80s. And he was there for her to prepare the tiles for his mural. And in the middle of his mural, he painted 2 peacocks, which is, I think, symbolic of what we have here today. And Mrs. Balian said to him, "You need more brown in those tiles." And the rest is art history, because he said she was right. And so I thought it was fitting that the peacock figures that are in our awards fit in this story. In closing, I wanted to say I'm very grateful for this honor, and I'm especially grateful to Judge Sinanian, who I called my prince. Remember, I in my violin doing Cinderella, I think. And I think you represent all things noble in a judge, and in a lawyer, and in a friend, and I'm very grateful. Thank you. I'm grateful for the blessing of all your appearances in my courtroom and for your commitment to excellence and fairness. You make judges and justices look good, and I'm very grateful. I'm grateful to all my colleagues and my family who came here today to share this very special event with me, and to Ms. Vera Patian and her staff, there she is, for the prodigious efforts you made to make this so special for me and Judge Kwan. And I'm honored to share today with Judge Kwan, and I don't think there are enough laudatory words in the dictionary to describe her. So in closing, I want to thank you for the honor of this award. I hope to earn it every day, and I hope to live up to the ideals of your culture. I'm going to try this in Armenian. Shnor hakal yem es merzanaki papi hamar. Did I get that chapter right?
By the way, these plaques that we give out are art by Sirun Yeretsian, who unfortunately has been hit with ALS. That's the best way to say it. She's still around, but she's not doing well. We continue the tradition of the Armenian peacocks, and also the letters in the Armenian birds, which is called Terchnakir, which is translated to bird letters, compound word. And I'll just read it. The Armenian Bar Association, on the occasion of its annual Judges' Night, proudly recognizes the Honorable Helen I. Bendix, now Bendixian. That's a tradition. Associate Justice of the California Court of Appeal, the virtuoso who teaches that the silence between treble and bass is as important as the notes themselves, who, with intellectual elegance and exceptional grace, warmly welcomes all and sundry through the golden gates of justice, who understands on her skin and in her soul the great consequences of its denial, because she, like we, are descended in blood and spirit from survivors of life's enormous challenges and from champions of its essential liberties. October 1, 2019, Glendale, California. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Judge Sinanian and Justice Bendix.